Good day, everyone. This is reporter JELIZZA Romea from BSC 1-2. And today, I am going to report about Eysenck conditioning theory and integrated theory. And for our part 1, we will identify who is the man behind the Eysenck conditioning theory and what is it all about. This is Hans Eysenck, the man behind the conditioning theory. His real name is Hans Jürgen Eysenck. He was born on March 4, 1916 in Berlin, Germany, and died on September 4, 1997 in London, England. With the rise of Nazi power in Germany, Eysenck moved to England in 1934. To attend University College in London. He received his PhD in 1940 while working at the college in the psychology department. In 1955 to 1983, Eysenck held the position at the Institute of Psychiatry at King's College as a professor of psychology and had published much of his work during that time. He focused his attention on intelligence and personality and helped launch the psychological journal called Personality and Individual Differences. He is best known for his work in the fields of intelligence and personality. Eysenck was the first to link personality to biological constraints. Based on both biological and psychological perspectives, he developed his theory of personality. He believed that biological factors such as cortical provocation and hormone levels, as well as environmental factors, can influence a person's personality proportions. And later on, Hans Eysenck developed the PEN model that focuses on three broad personality factors, which are psychotism, extraversion, and neuroticism. The second dimension is extraversion-introversion. Hans Eysenck theory suggests that personality is biologically based and that personality traits include dimensions of extraversion and neuroticism that can be measured using a personality questionnaire. Extraversion refers to a biological need individuals have for high or low levels of environmental stimulation. It is determined by the level of arousal in a person's central and autonomic nervous system. According to Eysenck, biological factors play a significant role in determining our personality traits. Extraversion people are more sociable, outgoing, enjoy the center of attention, and are energized by social interaction. While on the other hand, introverts tend to be quieter, shying away from large social gatherings, and they may feel uncomfortable engaging with strangers. Instead, they maintain smaller groups of close friends and are more likely to enjoy contemplative exercises. It is compared with low and extraversion. It is referred to spend time alone and are reserved, dislike attention, and are exhausted by excessive social interaction. Eysenck believed that extraversion is linked to levels of brain activity or cortical arousal. Extroverts experience lower levels of cortical arousal, resulting in them seeking arousal from external stimuli. Higher arousal levels in introverts leads them to avoid stimuli, which may lead to a further increase in arousal. According to the Yerkes-Dodson law, arousal levels can affect an individual's performance abilities. The theory posits that arousal that perform follow a bell-shaped curve with the latter decreasing during periods of high or low arousal. The second dimension is neuroticism, emotional stability. In the concept of forensic psychology, this environmental stimulation may include criminal behavior. Neuroticism refers to the stability of personality, and a high neuroticism score would represent someone who is more reactive and volatile and perhaps more likely to engage in offending behavior. Neuroticism is the trait disposition to experience negative effects, including anger, anxiety, self-consciousness, irritability, emotional instability, and depression. Individuals scoring highly on neuroticism measures tend to experience higher levels of stress and anxiety. They worry about relatively insignificant matters, exaggerating their significance and feeling unable to cope with life stressors. It was said that high individuals tend to be more anxious. They tend to have an overactive sympathetic nervous system, and even with low stress, their bodies and emotional state tend to go into a flight or fight reaction. In contrast, people high on stability tend to need more stimulation to activate their flight or fight reaction, and they are therefore considered emotionally stable. To be specific, higher neuroticism score has higher level of stress and anxiety, while lower neuroticism score more emotional stability. And now we will move to third dimension, which is the psychoticism normality. Later, Eysenck added a third personality dimension, which is psychoticism. It relates to the degree to which somebody is antisocial, aggressive, and uncaring. Eysenck argued for there being a criminal personality, which would characterize people who score highly on this three dimension. It is a late addition to Eysenck's theory of personality while he was working with his wife. When we say psychoticism, its domain involves unusual, bizarre thoughts and perceptions. When it refers to a personality pattern typified by aggressiveness and interpersonal hostility. When we say psychoticism, it is also a term used in psychology defining a state of mind where someone is experiencing psychosis and is in a heightened state of cognitive impairment. Psychoticism is defined by Eysenck as a personality type that is prone to take risks, might engage in antisocial behaviors, impulsiveness, or nonconformist behavior. It has been generally found that more creative people generally have higher psychoticism scores than people with a lower creativity. According to Eysenck, some people are over-inclusive in their thinking, meaning they have a very broad conception of relevance as opposed to people who have a much more narrow conception of what is relevant. He continues by stating that unusual responses to word association tests could be used as a measure of this hypothetical quality. His suggestion His suggestion is that individuals with an over-inclusive style of thinking have a larger sample of ideas on which a conclusion can be based. These people, he concludes, are able to come up with innovative, unusual, and creative ideas more easily than people who have a more conventional view of relevance to a problem. Ultimately, he believes that this could be possible the base of creativity. This theory stated that we are more prone to criminal behavior as psychotism appear and reduce a person's responsiveness that we cannot adopt to our social norms and seek for our own interests and violating rules. This image in the left side is an example of personality trait. At one end is extroversion with a preference for more stimulating environments, and at the other end is introversion with a preference for less stimulating environment. An individual may fall at any place on the continuum. While the image on the right side is a pen model diagram. The upper left part of the diagram shows the emotions a person experiences if they have an unstable, introverted personality. The upper right part, on the other hand, shows the emotions a person experiences if they have an unstable, extroverted personality. The lower left part shows the emotions an individual experiences if they have a stable, introverted personality. Then the right part shows the emotions of a person whose personality is stable and extroverted. And now I am going to tackle about integrated theory. When we say integrated theory, it is the theories that combine two concepts and central propositions from two or more prior existing theories into a new single set of integrated concepts and propositions. Integration can take several forms. The word integrated in this sense means that the theories are combined into a coherent whole. It also means that they are not compartmentalized but somewhat unified. When we say several forms, we have conceptual integration. Conceptual integration involves an absorption strategy, arguing that concepts from one theory have the same meaning as concepts from another theory and combining them into a common language and set of concepts. When we say conceptual integration, it provides a potentially powerful model for explaining a wide range of cognitive processes that build connections among different sorts of ideas. Integrated theories is the process of joining ideas from two or more criminological theories into a single theoretical statement. It often to provide a more complete and accurate explanation of crime or delinquent behavior. In review of integrated theory, it is considered important for the future of criminology because it emerged the insights from two or more theories into a single framework. To introduction reasoning or cause for crimes that are being committed. Integrated theory involves more than one perspective. And before I end this presentation, I would like to leave a message from Hans Eysenck. I always felt that a scientist owes the world only one thing, and that is the truth as he sees it. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you and God bless.